Yo, what's going on, Terry J? How you feeling today, baby?
I'm feeling good, man. We finally here getting this done, working on the
Yes,
project
yes.
with my man.
Man, it took some time, but it came to fruition, and I feel like beautiful things are happening right now. For all you out there, in internet land, I want to welcome you to Behind the Shadows. We're
Dope
talking
name, by the way.
about our
Dope.
video. Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
We just came up with it today, by the way.
Yeah. Spur of the moment. It's like pure creativity, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're bringing you behind the shadows of our video, the truth about Shawn Novak. And for those of you who don't or haven't watched the video, I'm telling you, you got to watch the video. It's spine tingling and disturbing at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely was pretty sad. My condolences to the family members
Yes,
of
yes, indeed, yes, indeed.
the victims involved, and definitely sad. Definitely sad. Go ahead. Let you take over.
Yeah. Well, I wanna hear a bit from you. You know, for those of you who don't know, we created the Curious Shadows channel to be able to bring you some true crime stories. You know, kind of pull the veil back and make you aware. You know, some things that have happened, maybe in your neck of the woods, maybe in another area that you may not be aware of. You know, but this first video, it kind of was right in Terry's backyard. If I'm not mistaken, you actually grew up with the cat, right?
Okay, so I didn't necessarily grow up with him. We weren't friends. We just knew each other, right? Right? We
Okay.
knew each other. If he ever got out and ran into him, I'm sure he wouldn't remember who I was, right? We
I
were
would
all
hope not, because you might be next.
I know, right? I know, right? So we grew up in the same development inside of Wadsworth. I'm a military brat. My father was in the Navy, so it's primarily Navy cats in there and some Marines. For those of you who are in don't know or might be in the Marines is the Navy. So those are the people who are primarily living in Wadsworth, which is naval housing at the time. So we all grew up together in naval housing, Wadsworth. So the story hit close to home, and being that we were doing it, I was like, okay, this seems like a great opportunity to write about something I got firsthand experience with, because
Right.
everyone there remembers who grew up at that time. We remember the day that the tragic incident occurred. So that's why I wanted to go with that story first.
Yeah, when you brought me the story, something I never heard about, in my life. I've had my own share of tragic things that happened, growing up, coming from rough beginnings and things of that nature. But I can tell you, this took the cake. Like, I had no idea this type of stuff was happening in the world. I mean, this guy was sick.
He was definitely sick. And who would have thought that this could happen in such a protected area? Like, you feel so safe being in military housing. Like, it's a Navy base housing, So,
Absolutely.
the police didn't come around and had their own security, MPs, actual military police patrolled the area to keep the neighborhood safe. So, I mean, no one would really think something like this could actually happen on such secure ground.
Right. Especially with kids. I mean, you're not looking at kids for sure.
Definitely. Definitely. Definitely.
So so let's talk about the thought process behind, you know, what made you think of this story? I mean, what was it when we said, we're going to do true crime, we're going to start talking about these things? Did you remember a specific memory? Did you come across it online again, or was it just something that was always in the back of your mind? Because we've been talking about doing this for a while before we actually pulled the trigger. Was it something that you knew this was going to be one of the stories that you wanted to do, or
Initially, no, brother. I didn't think about it like that. It's just once we said we're actually going to do it, it was just the first story that popped up in my head.
right?
So I was like, I know about it. I have some firsthand information about it. Let me go ahead and tell the story, or at least attempt to tell the story with the information that was out there.
Right. Right.
I got a question for you though.
Talk to me.
When I initially came to you and said, "Hey, I think this is an avenue that we should explore," like putting a true crime channel out there, what were your initial thoughts? Keep it real.
It was. I mean, you my man, 100 grand. Like, you're one of my best friends. So anything that you bring to the table is something that I'm always open to doing. It was a bit out of my comfort zone, from a standpoint of I never thought of doing it. My personal YouTube channel, a lot of it is about business and motivation. I'm easy to talk about 5 tips to have a phenomenal day and things of that nature. So it wasn't something that was in my realm of understanding. But I mean, man, I grew up watching, First 48 and all those type of shows, and my mom watched them, and and,
Hmm.
and so it wasn't far from my realm of understanding that, this is something that could take off.
Okay.
But I had no idea that there were so many stories that were out there, and that's one of the things that I don't want to say excited, because I mean, how can I be excited about the other people's misfortune?
Sure.
But I feel honored to be able to get the story out there further so that other people can be aware of, not afraid, but be aware of the possibilities of just making sure that you're conscious of your surroundings. And
Hmm.
two, getting the memories of these victims out there so that their memory can live on.
I can appreciate that. Okay. All right. You want to go back and forth like question for question? Because this is our first live, so we don't really have a format or a script. We just kind of vibing off of each other and being as real as possible, and trying to give you a sneak peek of what took place and how we came up with. Let me turn this off before it goes. All right. The concept of the video that we're going to be
Right.
reacting to.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you when you look at the video,
Hmm.
right? Did it? I'll ask for this for you personally.
Go ahead.
You didn't know Shawn personally.
I did.
Uh, you know personally, okay.
Yes, I did.
So in doing the research for the video
Hmm.
and digging more in and understanding more of the facts, because there's the facts back, when you're there and you hear it on the news, and then you're digging in and you're getting more detailed facts so that we could do this video. Um, in hindsight, did you see some of the stuff that you're reading about? Like, oh man, that never hit me back then. Like he was weird like this, or he did do this. Like, what? Was it any aha moments or revelations as you dug in and got more to the details?
I can appreciate that. The only thing that stuck out to me that I did find interesting was I never knew he hung out in the woods. I knew we
Okay.
all would walk through the woods, and we used to ride our bikes through there. We had the little area called the moonwalks. There was a bunch of hills that were man-made, and there was a fort back there that we would all climb the trees and add to, or what have you. I'd never seen him back there, but he was just a weird kid walking through the neighborhood. We used to call him Grits.
The grits.
Yeah, yeah, I remember telling you about that. We used to call them grits. I wonder how many people like my age right now will remember us calling the grits. But these were like the metalhead kids. They walk around with like a Metallica or ACDC shirts on,
Right.
torn
Right.
up jeans, Vans, and like a lumberjack shirt tied around their waist. Just we just weird kids, long hair, unclean, and just
Yeah.
doing that kind of stuff. But you know, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Just. But I never knew he actually hung out in the actual woods. That was interesting to me. I'd never seen him back there as many times as we would cut through, walking
Right.
to the store at the end of the next neighborhood over.
Right.
So I found that interesting. The fact that he frequented the area. I never knew that he hung out there.
Right. Now we've, being in current times,
Hmm.
and there's no telling when somebody may see this video. Um, but right now, where we are right now, you know, there's R. Kelly, and R. Kelly did some crazy things, and people talk about how he was abused and he was molested and affected his mental mindset
I actually
that
didn't know that.
caused him. You say what?
I didn't know that. I didn't know that he went through any of that. I never really followed the story. I just heard a lot of wild things just from pop culture.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah. They talk about he was molested and
wow.
abused when he was a child, and that kind of shaped his mindset and uh, caused him to be the way that he is now.
Okay.
And we hear different stories about that of people who are traumatized or had things that happened to them as in their younger selves that
Hmm.
shaped the decisions that they made as an older person. And as we looked at some of the things that Shawn went through, how weird he was and things of that nature, do you think it's a mistake for them to keep denying his parole at this point, or do you think that it's smart and he could, he's not rehabilitated?
That's wow, bro. I wasn't expecting you to hit me with that. That's a tough one.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a boomerang this question right back on you too. Um, do I believe in grace?
Yeah, that's basically what it boils down to.
It's hard, man. It's a tough question. Do I believe? Although we did the research for this, we still don't know everything about the law and the legal ramifications of the fact that he's in now and he's been denied parole, or I don't know. Let me just kind of just get to straight answering your question. Do I believe he served his time? I'm going to say yes. And I know there's going to be some people who, if they actually jump in the comments, might bite my head off. I would say yes, because he was a kid when he did it. I know times have changed and people look at children as, oh, they were smart enough, they were old enough, we need to try him as an adult. You know, yeah, I'm going to say yes. I believe he served his time, and I don't know what happens next. I haven't thought that far enough ahead yet. But just strictly answering your question, yes, I believe he served his time.
For
That's
me, it's a
hard,
catch.
man.
It's
That's
a it's a
tough.
catch 22 because I believe in grace and I
Mhm.
believe that yes, he served his time as well, right?
Okay.
But then you have the flip side. My man's been sitting in jail 80% of his life, right?
Okay.
So he might feel like, man, the legal system's some BS. When I get out, I'm going to, I got to get my revenge. You know what I'm saying? He
Revenge
may
on
have
what?
been revenge
Revenge
on the
on
legal
who?
system.
Okay.
He might be, more messed up mentally than ever before. Because of the solitude, because the lack of real world experience.
Okay. So
Killing maybe all that he knows.
that's a different conversation then. So the question then becomes, okay, if you believe in that he served his time, but because he's been institutionalized, for lack of a better phrase, should he be left to rot in that situation, or does he get help? Even if it's not going to be acclimated back into society, does he get help to work on himself, or just stay there to rot?
Has he gotten help while he's in locked up? That's another question.
That is a question we didn't dig in. We didn't dig into that. We
Right.
just focused primarily on the story in
Yeah.
itself. I don't know what he's been doing since. I know he's gotten married, which I thought was wild. Like,
Really?
yeah, that was just crazy to me. I don't ask me his wife's name, but I heard he got married.
Miss Novak.
Novak, right? That would be the last name. I,
Right.
I don't know. I couldn't say. I got a question for you. Well, no, the same question back to you. So you believe in grace, so you definitely believe that he served his time. Where would you like to see someone in his situation go from here, since you
Um,
believe they've served their time?
I believe it's much like the military. It's like when people, as a military guy, I would hope you could appreciate this. You you know, as a military person, you serve your country, you go put your life on the line, and you deal with all these traumas, and then you get put back into society. And there's no support for you to deal with the traumas that you've been through. You know, for someone like Shawn, I don't know what led him to be have the thoughts that he had.
Hmm.
Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the childhood that may have shaped his subconscious. So you have those things and those demons that have to be unpacked. You have what did he go through in jail? That may have caused some type of traumas and things of that nature. So I do feel like yes, he I feel like he served his time. Only the people in jail can really attest to, if he's been rehabilitated, just based on his day-to-day, actions and how he acts. But I feel like he should have the opportunity to get out. And once he gets out, there should be help provided that allows him to be able to, um, you know, deal with those inner demons.
That's tough, man. I don't know. I don't know. Neither you or I have all the answers. Maybe some people in the comments, if you choose to comment on this, have some insights that they'd like to share.
Here's
So
it's a catch-22 though,
okay.
because it's like you say yay, and he gets out and he does his thing. But if he gets out and has one slip up,
Mhm.
then you were wrong. He should have still rotted in jail. He could get a speeding ticket,
I was about to
and
say, what's the slip up? Is it like he stole a piece of bread or
it's
a ticket
anything,
or
anything.
you know?
It's anything. The magnifying glass will always be on him.
Sure. Now here's the other side too. Maybe he does deserve to rot because these two little boys are never going to get a chance, to do anything in life. They're gone,
Right,
because of a heinous act from this individual.
right.
So the flip side is why should he get the opportunity when they didn't? It's tough, but based on the current law, he served his time.
Yeah.
You know.
But
All right.
again, it's tricky because what caused him to get to that point, and the mistake that he made, you know, uh, the mistake that he made, should, if we believe in grace and forgiveness, should he be punished for that for the rest of his life? It's like when we look at, and there's people from many different nationalities, backgrounds, and spiritual beliefs and lack of spiritual beliefs, but whether you believe in God or the universe, it's like it's like saying you should be punished for every mistake that you made. You punched somebody in the face in high school. Should you be punished for, you know, uh,
I,
because that person has a scar on their face for the rest of their life? It's
I
hard.
I don't I mean you I don't believe you can contribute or equate being punched in the face and a scar versus somebody losing their life though. Those are like two vastly different scenarios. One you
Yeah.
have to live with. Of course, you got a constant reminder of when you got punched in the face, but at least you're still here to reminisce.
Yes. Yes.
Um, I don't know. Daniel and Scott, they don't have that opportunity anymore.
Right.
I got a question for you, brother.
Okay.
I pre-wrote some things down, some questions I wanted to ask you.
Oh,
Get to it
okay.
here. Yeah. All right. So you do it. Excuse me. Okay. Okay. So what was like your final reaction when you watched the final cut of what you put together? Oh, by the way, everybody, Marquise is the one who actually edited the video. So kudos to him for actually taking the time to put that together with his skill and expertise. But what was your reaction when you actually watched the entire final video and could just let your mind go and just take in the story versus looking at bits and pieces of it while we were putting it together?
Um, if you like the video, I did it. If you don't, then Terry did it. But my it was a catch-22. You're looking at it from I'm looking at it from a variety of different lenses. I'm looking at it as a creator to look at the edit and the quality of what we're putting out.
Mhm.
But the other side of it, of looking at the story, constantly looping, constantly editing it, constantly listening to it, it was really disturbing. I have two young kids, they're 15 years old. And it really caused me to kind of be paranoid for a while. It's like looking at every person in their life, looking at everything that's going on around us, and then just a quick segue into the video, the next video that's coming out. This one really has me on the swivel. Like, I need to do a background check on every single person that comes into their lives, because you just never know. Like, I don't know what clicks in these people's head. You know, is it society? Is it watching these movies? Is it they're so impressionable? Is it, you know, a lack of attention at home, allowing TV to raise your children? It's like there's so many questions that I have in my head. But just watching this one as a whole and in its totality, um, it was just amazing. I'm happy that he was brought to justice. I'm
Sure.
happy that the the police department in that area was able to find their bodies and able to, you know, to find Shawn and bring him to justice, and that the families have some closure.
Okay. Sure. I definitely concur that. I can't think of anything else right now. I want to rephrase my next question here, but
Okay.
I'm gonna give you an opportunity to present something because I don't, we just kind of this is our first one, guys, so bear with us. We just kind
Yeah,
of
I didn't write down no questions, so I'm kind of like
okay. I'll go then. How do you feel about the flow of the story? Like, how do you feel like it turned out? Did we manage to tell it in a way that keeps viewers hooked, or you feel like we need some more work? We have some more work to do.
I thought it was awesome. And just to give you a moment, you know, Terry is our in-house writer. Kudos to him, you know, for writing the story and doing the research and pinning everything together. I feel like you did a good job of giving details and flowing, um, you know, without doing an hour-long documentary. You know, you told the story, but still kept it, you know, short and sweet, you know, for the person who's just on their lunch break and want to get some information, or, you know, I hate to say entertainment, but, you know, just kind of learn and read, you know, or listen to this type of story.
Thank you, brother. That was actually the challenging part. Like, there was a lot that was cut out. We
Right.
cut a lot out to try and condense it into something that was short, and then to
Yeah.
find the visuals, to kind of go with it. It was a lot, but having you doing the editing and everything like that definitely helped out
Right.
for sure. All right, what you got for me? I know you got something cooking up in there.
Man, I got my questions out early, brother. You know, I thought I hit you with some solid ones to stump you, but you came back and you're mad nice with the boomerang.
With the
But
boomerang, I more practice the boomerang.
right.
So here's some things I feel like we missed. You and I both missed it.
Okay.
We forgot the music on
Oh
this one.
yeah,
So the people
yeah.
who are watching this, they'll be like, "Where's like there's nothing in the background?"
Right.
We forgot the music. That's on both of us.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is our first video, man. I think I believe I'm going to enjoy the journey of looking back once we get like 10, 15, 20 videos in, comparing that to what the previous videos look like compared to where we're at now, and probably how we're able to probably flow better and on the lives, and bounce off of each other a little bit more without being so choppy, since this is our first one.
Right. And the crazy thing is, in looking and listening to the Shawn Novak video, it didn't feel like it was lacking until we're starting to work on the new videos, and I hear the music in, and I'm like, oh, it adds a whole new element to, you know, the possibilities of it.
Okay, here's something we can talk about. Initially, I did the voiceover, and the voiceover sucked because it was horrible. It was just horrible. It was just like not my ministry, right? So you had came up with the idea of actually doing the digital voiceovers to kind of try and bring the characters to life. And I have to admit, I wasn't completely on board with that initially. I felt like it should just be completely narrator driven. But hearing this, the bringing the characters to life, even though it's not their real voices, drew me into the story a little bit more. And I hope you guys at home are able to feel that. Marquise's idea when he actually brought in the voiceovers. So it was good, but initially I wasn't on board with it. But I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, it was hard for me because I like doing voiceovers too. You
Mhm.
know, um, I look at stuff like the Boondocks, how Regina King is able to be, you know, Riley and Huey, and
Yes.
you have no idea. I look at Eddie Murphy able to be Donkey, in Shrek, and I look at, I looked at all the promo videos for the new Transformers movies, and you see Key from Key and Peele, and he's like, knife hands? I have knife hands. You see them doing the voiceovers, and
Yeah.
you're like, wow, like that would be dope. And I still to this day, I want to be able to do like some type of animation, voiceover and things of that nature.
Mhm.
But for the sake of being able to bring the videos to life, um, I felt like it would take too much time, and both of us will be in our own heads trying to be perfectionists about our own voiceovers. So I thought
Okay.
that gave the element of being able to get it done a little quicker, and
Hmm.
like you said, being able to use different characters and bring those characters to life.
Do you feel like we should take it in a direction to where we could get voiceovers later, or you still want to keep it on a digital format, like forever?
Um, in the future, my vision is to be able to incorporate the people,
Okay.
to be able to allow them to submit their stories, and use us as a platform to be able to get their stories out to the world, whether it's a true crime that happened in their backyard, or something that they may have heard about, and witnessed, on television that hasn't quite made it to us yet, and
I can dig it. I can
and
dig it, but
even eventually using people as voiceover, having a whole team of actors,
okay.
that we could be a what's the word I'm looking for, uh a place where we can cultivate talents, so where they eventually can go out in the world and do voiceovers, and things of that nature.
Okay. Okay. I'm on the same page. I'd like to see something like that happen too. Um, my next question is, uh, what do you feel like you learned from the editing process of this video that you could take into the next video, or that you've took into the next video?
Man, I've done a lot of editing, but this was a little bit difficult because you're telling a story of a person. Most of the videos I've edited would be, me, you know, uh, talking head videos and things of that nature. So
Hmm.
being able to tell the story, um, and frame the video clips, or the still images, while the voiceover is talking about certain subjects, is important. I feel like it brings the video to life more, and captures the listener's attention, instead of just having, boom, it's just a picture up there and you're just listening. It's like, okay, do 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 do. But
Okay.
as the things are changing, and the video is coming to life through the visual just as much as the audio, and soon the music too, in future videos, I think it's going to be a better presentation overall.
Okay. All right. I'll leave you with this last one, and I'll leave it to you before we wrap it up because we're getting a little bit time. It went by so fast.
Right, right.
Um, what kind of reaction are you hoping that we can get from the audience on this video?
Man, that's a good one. The toughest thing, I think. I think the best word that comes to mind is appreciation. Appreciation for the the justice that was served, appreciation for the police department,
Definitely.
appreciation for the legal system. Though it's failed many people many times,
Hmm.
they got it right this time. Appreciation for us bringing this story to further light. Appreciation for our creative side of writing on your part, and editing on my part. It's hard. I keep mentally going to the word of entertainment,
Hmm.
because I mean, let's be honest. For some people, true crime is entertainment. You
Hmm.
know, but it's hard to say that when you know that this is somebody's loved one. This is somebody who is still, somebody is still mourning over, you know, these stories that we're telling, whether it's their kids or their grandkids or their parents, or something like that.
Hmm.
So appreciation is the best word that it comes to mind. I just hope they appreciate what we're putting out.
Okay. Uh, man, thank you for that, brother.
Here's the boomerang. How about yourself?
Now, what can I say besides appreciation? Then, I
You
would
can
like
say appreciation too. It doesn't
I
have
would
to be
like people to
different.
be aware,
Okay.
of you know, and just take that extra time to hug your loved ones before they leave out the door, because you never know what can happen. You never know if that's going to be the last time you see them or not. So whoever it is, whether it's your young ones or just people in your life that you care about, let them know how much you care now, because there's so many hidden dangers out there in the world.
Right.
So that's what I thought about initially when I saw this. I have children too. They're a lot older than yours, but they're still our babies no matter how old they get. And I look at my son and I look at my daughter and think to myself, like, wow, like, these people have never had the opportunity to see their babies grow up. They're not going to have a chance to have grandchildren or to the prom or, football or soccer or whatever they were into. It's
Yeah.
gone, and life is so short and so precious that you got to let people know that you care about them while they're still here. So that's some of the things I thought about, as we were putting this together.
Absolutely. And I want to make sure that those of you out there, there's a difference between aware and afraid. We don't want you to be afraid because you can't live your life in fear.
True.
But be aware that, expect the best but prepare for the worst.
Hmm. Okay. Definitely. Tell them about the next video
Oh man, the next video,
and when it's dropping.
Cassie Joe Stoddard.
That was a tough one.
Very, very sad story. Very sad story. And I want you to make sure that you have a box of Kleenex and some Twinkies
What was the Twinkies for?
because you might go into a temporary state of depression because it's
Okay.
just
Okay.
very sad. Very sad. When I'm sad, I like to eat fat kid snacks. So
Love Fat Kid Snacks.
you know, you know, but seriously, it's something that'll raise your awareness even more.
Sure.
Each story that we tell is something that can raise your awareness and help you understand that sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. You know, it's just it's a sad story. So be on the lookout for it. It's gonna drop tomorrow, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and you'll be notified when it drops. As Terry J always says, tell a friend to tell two friends to bring three friends. Tell them all to subscribe.
Tell them to subscribe. All
Exactly.
right. I'll leave it with hey, if you like what we do, you know what to do. And we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Peace.
Peace.